I learned a hard lesson last year about I played guys that weren't quite ready to play, and I thought that was my fault. I started moving guys, and we moved Charles over, and there was almost some chaos for a while in the terms of just becoming steady, and a lot of that came from the lack of understanding the system. And now you're trying to replace it with another guy that all of a sudden Charles starts against Washington State. Think about that, the best passing team in the country, and he got 4 practices. And we threw him out there against them, and of course he played really good because he's a good player. But overall, it wasn't where it's been in terms of the knowledge and stuff like that. And I think right now we're getting more, not only the off-season work that we got, this practice here, I probably got more individual time, more meeting time, and I feel like I've gotten in a long time. And that's when you start really being able to teach detail. You don't want that detail coming up in the Washington State game. They know what they're doing, and we don't, and that's not a good thing. A couple of times we do assignments, and it costs us an opportunity to have a win. So I think the confidence with this group now, if that's what you're seeing or they're saying, comes from the fact that they've been there, and now we just got to get better physically. We know what we're doing to some degree, and that makes me feel good because I told them that's what I expect too.
Last year you thought perhaps this group might be as good a group that you had, and the season went on while learning. What's your assessment of them?
Well, not that I remember what I said a year ago, but I'm sure I thought I meant in the sense of talent, not in the sense of proven athletes, things like that. But then that's where I thought I probably made some mistakes, is that I saw the talent, and the talent sometimes just didn't
translate.
Yeah, the way I wanted it to, and the way I kind of expected it to. And we've been really good here for a long time, and then all of a sudden I'm dealing with a lot of things I haven't dealt with in a while. So like I just said to the other statement, but it was about now they've been there and they know it, and I know what they know, and that's a big difference. So I'm a lot more confident that when we talk about certain systems and offensive systems that they already know. They already know it. I'm not teaching them, and then all I have to do is teach the details, and that's the hardest part, of the teaching part of anything, is teaching details.
And one advantage of this year over last year is that you're more experienced.
Absolutely.
And they still have talent.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that'll come true when we open up in our first game. I expect us to be a very ready to go and confident group that is going to start proving what I thought in the first place, that they are talented, and now they know what they're doing, and they've been here, and I think it'll show.
What do you think of the guys' condition to stay out?
Well, that happens. When it changes is when they have to tackle and block. When you're in no pads, it's kind of like, you're in no pads. You're not. It's different. You ain't knocking people down and stuff like that.
The difference between touch football.
Yeah, and I think once the physicality part will come, we have to get them in shape regardless of what we do this summer, because you can't do pads all at the same time. Yeah, but I thought it was okay. We ran the ball pretty well, and a lot of carryover from spring. I expected us to be better today than we were on our last day of spring practice. And were we? I don't know exactly if that's a true statement or not, but in my mind, I'm expecting us to. We've got to move and make this thing happen right now.
John, you had each spring to work out of it. Is the 4-3, the difference in scheme, much different for a second day?
No, not the pieces of it. Sometimes because the 3-man spacing gives you an opportunity to play more 8-man drop. That may be the 4-man front. Pretty much leaves you 7 guys to play coverage with. So that makes it different. But no, for us, it's one call is almost exactly the same thing. But the systems are the same. What we have to defend and why we have to defend them, the numbers are still the same in terms of 11 people. And so for me, it's just a little bit. What I wanted when Brady came in, I wanted to completely translate to what he wanted in his language. I can do that pretty easy. I don't care what you call it. I can memorize it by what it is in my head, and we just say, look, it's not 6 anymore, it's 4. And that's all, what I do. You guys remember 6? And before long, you forget it was 6 and it's only 4. And that's how we translate it. So that Brady, we don't confuse his terminology with ours. We've had between Nick and Az and DP and then Brady, you can start getting, well, remember when we ran that, it was called, I want it to be what Brady wants it to be. And that way we're always on the same page.
It sounds like Juwan's running with the ones. What is that battle like between him and Reggie Danis?
Well, there's a lot of battles. There's Fotu out there, there's Tyree, there's Khalil Oliver. Those guys have played. I'm excited about it. It's great to have competition. Especially if you're a senior and you've got competition and you're not starting. You've been a starter before, so I think that's, for me as a coach, that's what I'd call a blessing.
Does it feel better this year? Do you feel like you're not going to have to throw someone out there that
I'm not going to throw guys out there. That's not going to happen.
Did that happen last year?
Oh, yeah. It happened. I threw guys out before they were ready, and we had Charles come over from offense, and it was really, really hard for Charles to be one of our best offensive players, and then all of a sudden you're playing full-time on here. I don't want to ever do that to a kid again. Part-time like they do with some of the guys that they do with Adoree Jackson. He goes over and plays a few plays on offense, but that's not what we were doing with Charles. Charles was playing full-time defense, and he was playing a lot of offense, not just a few plays. He was playing a ton of offense, and I don't want to have to do that again. And the one kid we could do it with was with Charles, because he's the one guy in our program that's tough enough and to pull it off. But it was still, even for him, overwhelming at times.
As a coach that wants to develop players, do you feel like that was really unfair to a guy like Charles? I mean, he wanted to do it.
I don't know if the word is, I use that word unfair. I just think it was overwhelming. And as coaches, that's part of what we have to understand before we put him in that position. And with Charles, he could return a kickoff for a touchdown. He can return a punt for a touchdown. He can return an interception for a touchdown. He can run a running play for a touchdown. He can catch a pass. He'll probably throw a pass for a touchdown. And when you got guys like him, you tend to, make a little bit of mistakes that they can do everything, and I think that was the problem. It just made him do too much.
Arion and Ugo said they're like playing off coverage, and that's what they get to do in this new defense. Have you seen?
Right now, yeah. I mean, that changes. But right now, what's the base? The base is off. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I like it. I've done it before in a lot of man situations. The game has kind of evolved into press man and things like that. So, but we'll have it all. You need a little of everything nowadays, to have enough weapons to defend all of the stuff that we have to defend. It's just an endless game of strategy. It's sort of endless. It's crazy.
You mentioned that there's a lot of position battles for your group. How interchangeable are the two safety spots?
Oh, they're very.
Safety has to be two different guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And it should be. Same with corners. And sometimes, corners, it's easier for a corner to play safety. Sometimes it is a safety to play corner because of isolations and stuff, just space and all. But I love guys like that. I love guys like we've had in the past. Eric Dargan, I could play him anywhere. And Avery Patterson, anywhere. Ugo, or Ifo, anywhere. Play him anywhere on the field, all the way back to my first few years here when I had a handful of really good players that could play any position, anytime. So we have enough people, I hope. There's some real serious competition. I'm feeling that I'm going to play more guys, and again, we defended more plays than anybody last year. We defended more passes than anybody last year. So why not play more guys if they're good enough? And I hope that will help us to improve our defense.
Is there a guy on this roster that can do that?
Well, Tyree has already done it.
Right.
We moved him to boundary corner last year, and he got honorable mention all league. There may be some times that he can do that still. Yeah, near the goal line, he's going to play some cross man coverage. He's almost 6'3", and he's got great ability to finish at the end of the route. So we get in those situations, I'm not going to hesitate to pay him out.
Sorry, I jumped in the before you answer this, but
Yeah.
you talk about competition in the DBs. You were so thin last year. What's it like having some depth and having some competition back there?
Well, I mean, it's just kind of what I'm gotten back to what I think I used to. This is a big time program where we should have competition. We should have good players. I try my best as a position coach to track it. If you ever look at my board in my office, I mean, I've got depth charts 3 deep. Some of them are little asterisks and hopes, but last year was a year that I had some major losses and I didn't really have the guys ready to go the way I would like to. This year I feel like I have.
I know you guys, had spring ball underneath them, but what's it like with Hope as a new DC?
You'll learn. Brady Hope is a really special guy because he's got the element of being really tough and he's got the element of being really fair. And some guys try to just be tough and not fair. That's a bad formula. He brings really positive energy and leadership to the coaching staff, and I think phenomenal feel for players and situations, and I think he's really good. He's good for Mark. You have another guy that's, sometimes it's like this presidential election. You don't know what it's like to be the president. You don't know until you walk in that door. You can criticize these guys until you're the one that walked in that Oval Office and you got to do it. I respect all those guys that have done that, and that's what Brady's done. I haven't done that. I haven't had to face the men. No. You bum. But no, he's really good. You'll really like him. He's got a good, fun-loving nature, but basically he's tough, he's firm, he's fair, and being in a situation where you come in and people like me and VP that didn't get the job done last year good enough, and you bring him in and you wonder, oh my God, are these guys going to be a jerk or something? He's a guy I'll follow. I'll stand, I'll follow him, or I'll go ahead of whatever he wants me to do. And I love people like that. I'm that kind of guy. If I'm a pretty good soldier if you're a good leader. I'm not. So I really like Brady.
So he's been an inspiration not only for the players but for the coaches also.
Absolutely. It's always fun when people, when Chip did it a few years ago, and then Chip came in and he was just different, and he had a different perspective. He's been different places. I've been here 14 years now, and so when someone comes in and they're different and stuff, like Jerry Azzanero was a few years back, and he really helped our defense because we learned more, and it made us better. And then Brady comes in and we're going to learn more, and it's going to make us better. And he can step back and maybe see things that maybe I took for granted and make sure that we don't this year.
That's it.